commentators like yourself were very unhappy that people were blocking bridges, but that highlighted to me how bad this crisis is. And I still stand by the justification for the fact that public disruption is necessary, because we're looking at the absolute collapse of our civilisations.
Here's my problem with it. I actually have a lot of sympathy with the cause that you're fighting. Right? I don't disagree with you about the threat from climate change or global warming, right? But what I disagree with you are about the tactics, because Insulate Britain, you know, you've had a case where a man was trying to drive his mother to hospital when she suffered a stroke, you know, and he believes, the son, that if you'd got her to the hospital earlier, she would have recovered. As a result, she's been left paralysed. You had Insulate Britain protests causing an ambulance to be delayed by nearly an hour on another occasion with a chest pain emergency. Another unnamed paramedic told a Metro newspaper that Insulate Britain were causing ambulances to be caught in tailbacks created by the road-blocking protests. When I read stories like this, my blood boils. I'm like, what right have you got, under the cause of global warming and climate change, which you want to protect young people in particular from a future which we don't know that is going to be safe for them, to do this kind of thing where you imperil people's lives, or to stop a child having education, or now being able to get around, or an old mum being able to be driven around shopping. I don't think you have the right to play God like that with people's lives.
Yeah. And I don't believe that this is a cause. What we're talking, no. What we're talking about is a physical reality.
Yeah, but it's also a cause. You're fighting a cause, and you're protesting.
There's the real world.
People protest about all sorts of things.
There's the real world, Piers, right? Yeah. And we need to understand that we're living in the real world.
I understand that. What I don't understand, Liam, is why you have to do the kind of things I've just read out. Why you have to make that poor woman not be able to take her son to school. There are other ways to protest.
But why is that poor son in 20 years' time going to live in a world that's one of unimaginable horror?
Well, we don't know where the world will be in 20 years' time.
We do, and we need to start to accept this horrendous physical reality that exists, Piers, and we're not discussing it well enough. And Sherrilyn's son is 11 years old, doesn't get to have a say in his future, which, at the current trajectory, is going to be one of unimaginable horror.
Liam, I come back to the point. I agree with you about the need to take climate change seriously. What I don't agree with you is stopping people from getting emergency medical treatment or stopping children going to school. That, to me, seems to be the opposite of what you're trying to achieve, which is a safer future for people.
Yes, so what we're saying here is, why aren't we talking about the government criminality that's going on when every person knows, like, this is happening now. We've got an absolutely catastrophic heat wave going on in India and Pakistan at the moment, to the point where glaciers are melting in the Himalayas, causing rivers to flood and breaking infrastructure.
But you're missing my point. I don't disagree with you about the dangers that are being faced to the world. I would support you. The problem I have with your tactics is you put me off supporting you. You don't bring me to your protest. I don't think, I want to join these guys, they're making a great point. I just look at this poor woman and think, why have you done that to her and her kid? I look at these terrible stories of a woman left paralysed because you lot were lying in front of a car. It's like, why do that? There are other ways to protest.
Because you're not listening to what I've just said. You're not emotionally connecting to the fact that what I've just said to you is 1 billion people...
Actually, you're not listening to what I'm saying.
No, I am, but what I'm saying is we're in this
what you're not hearing is I'm agreeing with your cause, with the campaign you're waging.
Just said to you,
I just don't agree with the tactics. I want you to concede, Liam.
But I don't agree with government criminality.
Let me finish. I want you to concede that the tactics you've been using are self-defeating. I think there's a better, more effective way to do it. I think you would, if you're honest with yourself, say that actually this doesn't work, this kind of thing. It might get you a few lurid headlines, but I don't see any of the British public go, you know what, I'm watching this video, I've got to join that protest. They think the opposite. They think you're a bunch of people wrecking people's lives, and I don't think that's actually what you want to achieve.
Well, look, we're prepared to take the consequences. There's 14 people currently in prison, non-violent, ordinary people that are currently in prison. Ordinary people like Sherrilyn Spied are receiving unfair sentences. Nobody wins here.